Hi everyone, welcome to Aaron Does It Wrong in support of World Workings and Casey Hudson. Today we're using this pterodactyl to build a Tadara Brae by removing its legs first of all, and taking the arms off this other dinosaur to use as legs. Now these arms aren't legs, so you're going to want to cut the arms off of the future legs, which actually you're going to use the arms to make future arms as well. Once you get all of these legs glued together, it's time to start moving on and taking wings off. Now it's best not to tell people that you use the kitchen scissors when you use the kitchen scissors knife, and it's best to safely remove the claws as well. Once you have the claws removed, it's time to glue the legs onto the body. Now I recommend doing as much of this off camera as possible. I also recommend touching the super glue as you're trying to glue the legs on. This is going to make your life so much easier in the future because you're just going to stick to everything. Now, once you get the legs glued on, it's time to play with your dinosaurs. And if you're not playing with dinosaurs, you're doing it wrong. Now Tadara Brae, of course, have two sets of arms. One set of arms actually leads to the wing, while the other set is used to manipulate objects, and it's important to get these arms positioned in the correct places. Once you determine where that place is, just glue the arms onto where you want them to be. Then it's time to remove the head, which is a lot easier than you imagine it's going to be. So when you've got the head removed, it's time to actually start gluing the head from this other dinosaur that is just fantastic and will make a perfect Tadara Brae head. Once that's removed, use parts of the pieces of the wings that you've taken off and glue them onto the top of the body for a neck, and then of course lose all of the footage you have of attaching the head. Now using Play-Doh, which I advise doing because it's absolutely the wrong way to do this, start filling in all of the cracks around the body. As you can see, I'm probably the fastest Play-Doh installer in the history of the world. Since Play-Doh doesn't really stick to plastic very well, you're going to want to use a lot of wood glue as well. I find wood glue is probably the best glue in existence, and I advise using it in every project anytime. So once you get all of the Play-Doh attached, you're going to want to make little wing flaps. You're going to want to attach those with wood glue as well. Wood glue, where would we be without it? Now, once you get this all nice and coated in a nice dark black finish, it's time to paint. And we're going to systematically paint darker reds and moving to lighter reds. And as you can see, we're actually turning it to sort of a brown color. Now this is going to actually start to show up. You can't see it very well under the horrible lighting that I've done so far in the darkened room that I'm working in, but you can see in the wings that the brown is starting to show up. Now we need to fill these in with incrementally lighter and lighter reds as we continue working. As we are working on this, it's time to focus on the sensory organs of the Tadara Brae. The sensory organs are generally red, and this is because the planet that they live on actually has an atmosphere that doesn't allow blues in, and so the most common light is red. Everyone thinks that these are horns, but they're actually sensory organs. Once you fill inside the inside of the mouth with a little bit of red and start coloring in the teeth, this is starting to take shape. And now, I'm pleased to present Raiace Cuthalo. Now, Raiace is, of course, a racer. Now, Raiace also has quite a few tattoos on her wings and her body, and you can see the beginnings of what I'm starting to do for the tattoos of her wings. On her wings and also along her shoulder. Now, I don't necessarily know what these tattoos mean. That is for Casey to decide as she builds this world. I just know that this racer has these tattoos on her wings and on her body, but she also has a tattoo that stretches along her back. My assumption is that this is probably like one of those really bad tribal tattoos that everybody was getting in the 90s. But once again, that will be for Casey to decide. And with that, I'm pleased to present the glamour shots of Raies. And please go find Casey Hudson at worldworkings.com, enjoy her blog, and enjoy Aaron Does It Wrong. Thank you very much and have a good day.